Alright everybody, welcome back to Newsboy Hoy. Today I will be wishing you all a happy Easter. So, happy Easter everybody. I'm back because I was giving it up for Lent, but now Lent's over. So, happy Easter. Let's run through the Easter story real quick. So, before this 12-hour period, we had the Last Supper, which is basically not only an institution of the Eucharist, but it's also the institution of the priesthood and of the Catholic Church, really, because he said baptize. So he made them the first priest and bishops to go and spread to every other priest and bishop, and make more of them, basically. So make more priests and bishops, and then we have the institution of the Eucharist, when he basically blesses the first body and blood. So on the first day out of the 3 days, you have Jesus. He suffers, I guess, the day before. He starts the day before that night, about 3 in the morning, until 3 in the afternoon. He is suffering and dying, or suffering, being tortured, dying. Then he dies at the end. So, now we skip forward, and you have Saturday, which is the day of, it's called Holy Saturday. It's basically the day of darkness, right? It's not really a happy day, but not really a sad day either. It's just the day of darkness. And the day of darkness then is, you have the day of darkness where basically he was dead and the land was dark. Then early this morning, which is when I woke up, around that time, some people believe he was, out of the tomb at sunrise. So I would say sunrise is probably, I don't know, like now it's about 7:30, so I'm just going to say he probably was resurrected about 7, so now you have 7 this morning, he is resurrected, and he is back for 40 days, so that is the 40 days of Easter. So yeah, that is the Easter story. Now, how do you celebrate Easter? Well, with this whole COVID-19 going on, personally, it was a bit different this year. Usually, we'll wake up, we'll check out what the Easter Bunny and stuff brings us, and then we'll do this thing called resurrection rolls. It's we get a marshmallow, which is supposed to represent dead Jesus, and we put him in oil, the perfumed oils to make the dead body smell good, or in our case, butter, and then spices, which was like all these different things, also to make the body smell good. For us, it's just cinnamon and sugar. Then you wrap them in a cloth, which is supposed to represent the Shroud of Turin, but we wrap them in a croissant. So you take a croissant and, like, instead of making it a regular croissant, you basically wrap this thing in a croissant. So then you take this croissant and you put it on a table, or not a table. You read the readings of them anointing them. It's in John towards the end, and then we put them in the oven for about 15 minutes, and then we eat them. And the kind of cool thing, the reason they're called resurrection rolls, is because marshmallows are basically just fancy sugar in a weird form. Look up the science on how that works, but because they're just sugar in a weird form, you have now like when you get it, usually either the thing's been busted open, or there's like a piece missing out of it, and the marshmallow is melted into the croissant, but it looks like there's nothing left. So it's just kind of like a cool way to, it's just a fun treat that we do. So that's usually what we do, and then we usually go to Mass. So with us this year, we could not go to Mass, so we watched it, because most churches have Mass streaming. So it's very sad that we can't go to Mass, but, that's how it is. So that's how our Easters usually go. We do that, and then afterwards we come back, we have some sort of small lunch, and then we prepare a big Easter feast. And then this big Easter feast, we have, ham, green beans, mashed potatoes, sometimes mashed sweet potatoes, because that's what my mom likes, and rolls. They're these really good rolls. They're really fluffy. But yeah, so that is usually how our Easter days go, and then we'll usually end up playing outside for some time. Also, we'll end up, maybe watching a movie, like a Catholic movie, so we might watch Arisen today. I've never seen it, and I would love to watch it. How do your Easters go? Because here's the thing with Easter, right? I just explained the story, and I explained how our Easter goes. So, with Easter, we have, the point of Easter is not eggs, or bunnies, or springtime, or sunshine even. it's really about Jesus resurrecting. So I'm gonna name a few cool things about his resurrection. One, the Shroud of Turin. I think that's the coolest thing. So the Shroud of Turin, for those of you that don't know, is a cloth that was put on Jesus when he died. It was when he resurrected, he basically he didn't just kind of unwrap himself. Okay, he had a very beaten, broken body. If you watch The Passion, you see how beaten up his body is. And if you just have a really good imagination, you can probably imagine how his body was. So his body is very beaten up, bruised, and scarred. And so he's now in this Shroud of Turin. And then when he resurrects, this is not in The Passion actually, but it should be. When he resurrects, his thing fades kind of in the movie, but really it was kind of like a giant flash of light. But not only light, but heat. Right, and then that body was gone, and then he has another body right next to him, which is kind of in The Passion. You then see his new body with all the scars removed except for these scars, the ones in his feet and the one on his side. Those are the only scars that are left. So all the lashings and beatings and bruisings, they're all gone, and now it has a new body and leaves. Now this flash of light that happens to the Shroud of Turin, this is a This light, he basically managed to, before there was hardly any technology whatsoever, like at least nothing like we have now, he managed to create a perfect laser image almost into the Shroud of Turin that shows his entire body. So you can look up pictures of the Shroud of Turin. It's kind of hard to see, but scientists have been able to figure out exactly what his body looks like and even make 3D models. So we've literally figured out exactly how Jesus looks because of this Shroud of Turin. And scientists have also looked at it, and there is no way possible, even now with the technology we have, we have some pretty advanced technology. Most of us aren't accessible to it, but even with the technology now, we cannot even create it would require billions of watts of electricity. Basically, you would need the power of a star to make this, and the strongest laser we have would not be able to make such a detailed image, and it would burn up a cloth. This was basically it would burn up the cloth. It's insane. So it's another one of Jesus' miracles. One more cool thing about Easter, it always falls on the Sunday, and the reason why is because the spring equinox, it's always a certain time set after the spring equinox. So in the Jewish calendar, I'm pretty sure the Jewish calendar, Easter always falls on the same date. So for us it moves, but in the Jewish calendar, it doesn't. It stays right in the same day, and they basically base their whole calendar almost off of this, at least in the old Jewish calendar. I don't know about now, but yeah, and they have 13 months actually, and it's based off of lunar cycles, not, rotations of the earth. So that's a few more cool things about Easter. That's what I have for you today. Happy Easter, everyone. I hope you spend a lot of time with your family. And I'm back, so I'm going to find my hat, and I'm going to continue doing videos. See you later.